We are starting page 76, I think.
So, I'm gonna stick this in my trunk and I'll be right back.
Okay.
So I don't forget it.
Anybody want coffee? Sorry, got distracted and didn't make any.
No, I've had enough. I need to stop.
Danielle was like, I'll take both cups. And her mom would be, she yelling at us in Spanish and talking to us fast.
So I left a sample of all the stuff that I finished, where I left off,
Okay.
on one side of your desk.
Okay, thank you. Hey, love. Do you know where my sign language book is? By the piano. On the floor. By the piano.
You always ask the lady, she knows where everything's at, huh?
No offense, Jimmy. You should put air
All I'm
tags
saying
on
is that's
your
not
stuff.
where I left it. So don't get too.
You should put air tags on your
On the
stuff.
back piano. I said on the back piano, and yesterday during church, go to the book together.
Oh.
All right, Ziggy, let's go home.
Did you know we made it to page 100? 100.
Yeah, I knew that we were up there.
Yeah. How are you? Doing good. And you have to remind me, what's your name? Michelle. Okay. Got Miss Rianne, Miss Daniela. Figured out Miss Ramona tonight. I know everybody on this half.
Are you sure?
This is my,
Definitely know you.
it's my sister-in-law and two of my daughters, and then he's a church member. It's been,
Mention Gabby.
she only knows how to give insults. She doesn't know how to talk any other way.
I'm nice.
That's her love language.
Her love, yes.
My nice language.
We would, like before I got married, or even afterwards, we'd go and she was living with my in-laws, and we'd go and visit, and everybody thought she was rude. And her mom yells at her still to this day. She's like 28. Her mom yells at her for being rude, and she'll tell me all the time, like, she'll stand at the door and be like, leave now, like you said you'd buy, here's the door, and she'll kick us out, and then like slam it on me, and I could hear mom yelling at her.
Don't lie. You're not a church. You're a pastor. You shouldn't lie.
So she kicks us out, right? Very like, bye, and you go sometimes, and there were sometimes like she wouldn't even give me a hug. It was like, no, bye, get out of my house. And her mom, I could hear mom start yelling at her, but nobody saw the text message that by the time I got to the car, I had a text from her saying, hey, it was good to see you. Come back anytime.
Don't come back. I guess I live with you now.
Well,
I'm staying tonight, Marty.
here comes Miss Rianne. So as soon as she finds her place, we'll go ahead and pray. And sorry for being a few minutes late. Let me teach you a sign here. Open hand, going like this, means please. Closed hand, S hand, think of S for sorry, because you're saying sorry from your heart. So you're rubbing your heart, saying sorry. From the bottom of my heart, sorry, I'm late.
I'm always like that.
Yeah, that's like, because again, your shoulder is the time, is a time structure. So to say generations past, you make a G and you throw the generations past your shoulders. If you're talking about generations past, like my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather and stuff, but if you're talking about for your future generations, you want to leave a legacy for them, you go like this forward in time, that's saying your future generations. This, and then so to say last night, you say last night, because it's just saying, hey, the last time, that's the time signature, last night. And then, but to say the words not yet or the words late is like this. So I was saying, sorry, I'm late, and talking how more than one of us need to learn that. Not you.
Not today. Not today, yes.
Oh.
Today.
So, yeah, so please is open hand, and because especially if you're talking about something like this, if I go over to your house and you feed me, I'm gonna go like that, and I'm gonna say that was pleasing food, like it was good, it was pleasant. But to ask or to say, open hand is please, and then if you make an S hand, go over that, you're saying sorry, because you're saying sorry from the bottom of my heart. So, that's that. So let's start with the prayer, and we'll get right into it. So, dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here again in class, and Lord, just help us to learn, and we thank you for all things. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so some of you weren't here last week. What we did was we just went from page 75 to 100. What we looked at is, by the end of this month, we'll have finished the vocabulary in this book. And then that still leaves us another month, plus a little bit into December, but that'll give us November and in the first part of December to actually put all of it together, do a review of all the vocabulary, but then do what my wife did a couple weeks ago when she taught the class and actually start working on sentence structure. And that's when we're going to really have some fun, have you guys come up, put your sentences together, read things like that. But we're going to kind of just plow through the rest of the vocabulary here this month. And like I said, we'll have the last month or so, month and a half, to really just put it all to practice, put it all together. And so I know some of you guys weren't here for page 75 through 100. We can go over that here in just a little bit, but I really want to just pick up on page 100. And I think we did 100, but let's start on page 101. I think we did 100. And some of these words are stuff we've already talked about, but we'll get through this as quick as we can again. And if you guys want me to slow down or you want me to repeat a sign, just let me know. Just raise your hand, let me know. So the sign for thirsty is you're going to take your finger and you're just going to go like this. Because when you're thirsty, where do you feel it? In your throat. You got a dry throat, you're thirsty, right? But, and that's usually where when you're thirsty for cold water, you feel it in your throat, but when you're hungry, you feel it in your stomach. So thirsty is like this, but if you're hungry, you're going to go like this because you're going from down to your stomach. Because that's where where you feel hungry at, but you feel thirsty in your throat. And so thirsty is like that, hungry is like that. Word we learned about 2 weeks ago was gullible, was thirsty fish. I love it. I love it. That's such a that's beautiful sign. Thirsty fish. Why is that gullible? Because if you have to explain it, then fish can't, they live in water. They're not going to be thirsty unless they're gullible, right? Thirsty fish. But that's thirsty, hungry. That's also the word for desire. We went over that. And primarily because as humans, we get hangry very quick, and our attitudes change based on our hunger. And so when you're hungry, it's your body saying you have a great desire, right? And so that's desire or hungry. So context will help with that. If you're singing a song, a praise song to God, and it's like, all I want is you, you're not saying, all I hungry is you, God, right? So context is going to help. But that's that. So thirsty is you're going just like that on your throat. Maybe. I'm not even going to get into this new generation language of what kids say. Please don't.
Maybe.
No. There's two numbers I don't care to ever hear put together again. If you know what I'm talking about, it's
I do.
so that's maybe because maybe this hand, maybe this hand. There's two different options. You're not sure which one. Maybe. Are we live?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sweet. So that's maybe to miss, and we've talked about this before. To miss or to long for, it's similar to the sign for bitter. It's also similar to the sign for sweet. Sweetness, like candy, is usually by your tooth. You have a sweet tooth. But to go like this, telling somebody that means I missed you, right? If you're talking about food or maybe a lemon or fruit, or if you just had a lemon or something, you say it was bitter and you make a nasty face, like if you pop what are those candies called? Warheads in your mouth, and that face you make when you do that, that's bitter. Like But to tell somebody that is it was bitter without you. That's what you're saying is I missed you. So that's the sign for miss. And then secret is similar to patience, but you're just going to put your thumb over your lips. That's a secret. You're closing your lips, right? You're just closing your lips. That's a secret. Sometimes you'll see it bounced, but just people saying, "Shh, don't tell my secret." Okay, there we go. Hunger. Yeah, so hunger is going down like that. War is you're going like this. Because there's battle, there's bullets flying back and forth. That's war. See, I don't even know what it says there. It goes like that, and then it goes down. I don't know. I've never seen anybody go down with it. But just, that's battle. Like talking, a lot of biblical, if you're interpreting the Old Testament, there's a lot of battles that happen. So that's war. Peace is, you're going to go like this with your hands, and you're going to twist your hands as you come down. And I don't, yeah, sure. Did you say like a dove? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Maybe, yeah. I wonder if that is a sign. But you're just going to, there's friction, but now there's peace. And so what do we do when, and this one helped, when you're telling somebody to calm down, what is the most natural sign for you to do? Exactly. You're going to say, hey, calm down. So there's friction, you need to calm down, right? Perfect. So perfect can be done two different ways. And so the way it's shown here in your book here is you're going to make an F hand. And basically, if you look there, it's going like this and coming down. It's a pinpoint. It's a perfect pinpoint, right? Sometimes I learned it with my feeling finger to go perfect. But that may be more C sign. But either way, whether you do it like that, perfect, or with your feeling fingers kind of like a K coming in, either one, that's perfect. I think that's more C sign, like I said. But either one. So a lot of deaf people, they'll say perfect. Because, again, to come down, it's a pinpoint, specific point. With, your hands are together. You're with. Going like this means together. You're with together. So with is kind of just bringing your hands together. Again. This one is, you're going to go again. Again. And when somebody is signing to you and you don't understand it, you're going to be like, again. I'm sorry, do it again. And you're going to tell them to keep doing it again. So that's again a repeat there. Any is, let me see. That says go like that. I would have been backwards. Where's my wife? Love. I hate it when she leaves. It's not like she has 6 other kids to go watch. Yeah. Because, going like this from here out is other. Like if you're talking about, so not me, like the twins, right? If you're talking one of the twins, they're like, not me, the other twin. So that's other. So any is maybe why it's going like that. So remember, going like this is each. Just going like that one time is each. But doing it multiple times is every. Because one time, each, when you say something like candy is, I go top to bottom. Yeah, so if you just go like that, that's each. Like if candy is individually wrapped, you're talking about each candy, you're singling it out. So you just do it once, you're singling it out. But if you say every, it's repeating, right? And so that's each, every, then other, and then any. So all of those are kind of similar to one another. But when you're saying other, it's usually pointing to somebody else. So that's why, for me, it's easy to remember going other, right? Because you're just pointing somebody out. Hey, not me, somebody else. So any is like that. Almost is you're going to go like this, and you're coming close because you're almost hitting your hands, and that's almost. Now, this part can be a little confusing. Most is, Charity, how would you do most? Isn't it most like that? I normally, like I said, go review these technicalities because I get them a little mixed up sometimes. But I usually go over them with my wife, but I've been busy this week. But anyways, almost, yeah, is you're gonna go like this, and you're coming close, and you just coming really close to it. And then most, I think, is with your hands in, and you're coming all the way up. So it's very similar context. I'll verify with that one. Most, but yeah, with your hands like that. So yeah, almost is you're just coming close to it.
What was the?
But most is actually, it looks like each going down, but most is, when I think of most, you're piling up, the most piles, so going up is what's kind of helped me to kind of signify the difference there. Now the word all on page 104 is you're going to start off like this and you're just going to go like this. Because what you're doing is you're encompassing all. Like if I was pointing at everybody, basically I'm including, I'm gathering you all in. So all is like that. It's encompassing everybody. How, we've looked at this one, you start off and you just go like that. How. So if you're going to ask somebody, how are you? You go, how you. That's all you got to do. How are you? Where? Hi, Precious. Hi, Pretty. They're all shy. So where is like this. And so that's why I think bathroom is like that, because most people are asking where the bathroom is. But that's the sign for bathroom, right? So where, why, look at this again. You're coming off your forehead, because that's where your reasoning is. And you're actually just coming, you're ending with a Y hand, right? If you're just doing your alphabet, Y, because you're reasoning why. So that's why. What, you can do two different ways. Here it's showing you with your hand, and you're going down like that. Because this is this. You're pointing at this. But if you're not sure what this is, you're asking what, right? That's what. Now, a lot of times you can just go like this. Raise your shoulders and go like that. That's, you're asking what? Usually this term here, what? So in English, we use that in the middle of a sentence, but it's not always used as a question in English, right? If it's in the middle of a sentence, and now I can't think of an example.
What child is this?
No. See that's the question that begins. So if it's at the beginning of the question, that's the sign for what. But if it's in the middle of a sentence, and like if I say, yeah, this is what I look like, they don't say, this is what I, look like. They're not going to use that term what in the middle of a sentence.
So we just drop it in sign language then, probably?
They would reword it in such a way that what isn't there. Or like, this is what I look like. They'd say, this is what I look like.
Tell them your wife.
Yeah, she came in. But so when it's used as a question at the beginning of a sentence, that's the sign for what. Now, if you're signing and you're like me, and you're in the middle of a sentence, you can sign it, and most of them are going to understand because they're learning English. Like a lot of deaf people are learning more English today, and a lot of hearing people are learning sign language. And so there's a little bit of a blending of the language and the structure there. But just technicalities, that's supposed to only be used as a question at the beginning of a sentence. And then who, there you go like this, and you're going to go who, and really pucker, say the word who, but when you do it, you pucker your lips out. And so, who. And that's what I normally use. But the other way is still pucker your lips out, even say who, but you're going to just circle your lips. Who. And so I'm not sure where I think the older generation goes like that. I think the younger generation goes like that, but they are interchangeable. So they're both accurate. When, who, what, when, you're gonna go like this, and you're just gonna make a circle, and coming back, because this, going like this, you're talking about, right? So when you're talking about when, it's a timing thing, like the term about. You're just going like that. So when was it? What time was it, right? And so that's when. Now, all, yeah. So all, yeah, when. Now, with when, we say, if you're asking a question, that's when. But if you're saying when something happened, then there's two ways. Happened is, a strict ASL is going to be one finger, but most of them will, like an H hand, happened. And so if I'm asking when is the play, I'll say when. But if it's something that's already happened that you're describing, then you wouldn't say when, because that's a question. You would say it happened. So it depends on, if you're asking about a future tense, that's when you would go like that. If you're explaining, when I was a kid, you wouldn't say when, because that's starting a question. You're just telling a statement, hey, it happened when I was a kid. Because again, with the sign language, grammatically, you always, not always, but it's a good rule of thumb to put the time key first. So happened means it happened in the past. You're signifying this is in the past. Now we have, in English, we have, ed at the end of a word. The suffix is going to signify something that happened, right, in the past. And then we have the suffix ing, saying it's presently happening. And then we have statements that just end. So we have suffixes to determine, even in the middle of a sentence, what we're talking about, or from sentence to sentence. With sign language and with the deaf, if they tell you, hey, last year, and they start telling you a story, everything in that story is already understood that this has already happened last year. We would say in that story, we would repeatedly use the term ed at the end of a word. I played, we scored, and then somebody else did this, and the word did, past tense, scored, ed, past tense, played, ed. We continually use that in our language. Deaf people, they have the same word, play, score. I don't know what score is, points. But there's not a suffix on the sign because it's all understood at the very beginning of the conversation, last year, right? So timing is when, so the word when is when you're asking a question. Happened is when it's already happened, timing wise.
What would you say happened in the sentence past? Like,
You would do it at the very beginning, like you said, to qualify it at the very beginning.
Yeah, you could, because this is
so
just,
not just happened, so like, yeah, you would say the time kind of last year, but what else would be like
let me,
yesterday, or you just the time? You
I-
said it happened.
I just,
Happened yesterday. Or?
well, so if you're talking about when I was a kid,
Mhm.
you'd say, happened to me, kid.
Oh, okay.
But,
There's different ways probably to say it now, depending on what you're saying.
yeah, I'm just trying to think of an example of a sentence structure. Because there is flexibility, and we'll get to that when we get to the structure. But general rule of thumb, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. Or saying, okay, when I heard the sirens, I looked for my kids. So I wouldn't say when, because that would change the sentence to that's a statement. You're making a statement when I hear the sirens. You're not asking somebody when something is. And so I would say, happen here, sirens. And I don't know the sign for sirens. I forgot that one, but that's alarm. So, happened here, sirens. I search my kids, or for my kids. If that makes sense. Kind of helps you a little bit. So, yeah. So just when you're asking the question, when is your play? When is practice? Or when is class? Right? You're asking a question to be answered. But when you use the word when, like I just did, when this happens, that's when you use happens. And then how much, because going like this is many, right? And that's how. So just put it together. How many? How much? Yeah, going back to the any, each, every, all of those terms there. The word which is going to go like this. It's kind of like maybe, but you're given two options. This option, this option. Which one do you want? Right? So that's which. To choose, you're going to put up two fingers, and you're going to go one, you're going to choose. Right? If you're giving options, you're going to say option one, option two. Which one do you want? so that's to choose. Hey, choose one. To forget, again, so this is the knowledge I know, and I forgot. It's not there. It slipped away, right? I let it slip my mind. I forgot it. It's not there anymore. To remember, so to learn is like you're going to grab it from a book and stick it in your brain. That's how you learn, by reading books. So you grab it, you read it, and you learn it. You have it. But to remember something, that means you're bringing it back to remembrance. It means you already know it. So you're bringing it from your brain to your paper. And it's the opposite transaction. To remember something is, yeah, it's there, and I'm bringing it to the forefront of my mind. And I'm putting it back on paper. I'm remembering it. So learn, I'm putting it in. But to remember, I'm pulling it out.
You bring it to a fist, though. I didn't see you doing like a paper. So you
Oh,
bring it
okay.
up.
It's just your two A hands. You just bring your thumb to your thumb. Yeah, that's remember. Thumb to thumb. Yeah. I explain it like you're putting it on paper, but it's thumb to thumb. You're just bringing it back from your brain. And then to want is you want it. Like little kids, I want it. Yeah, when little kids want something, what do? If they want you to pick them up, they go like that. They reach out, they want it. And so if you want it, you're going to bring it to yourself and kind of grab it. You want it. If I'm offering, if you want it, I'm going to offer, hey, you want this? And I'm going to actually present it to you. But to say, I want. So that's why, again, I desire, like in the song, sometimes the song might say, I want, but really, you could sign I want, or you could sign I desire. Just depends context. So if you're watching other people, and the subtitle says want, but they sign desire, or they say desire and they sign want, that's why. They're kind of interchangeable a little bit. I'm sure a deaf person can tell you an exact context where they might use one or the other. When I'm talking about relationships, things like that, I use the term desire. If I'm talking about just physical, material things, unless it's like a motorcycle, I desire that. But if it's just material things, then I want that.
Pizza.
Yeah. Pizza? No, that's desire. Come on. Get it right. But that's the difference. You want it. You're bringing it to yourself because you want to hold it. You want to grab it. To ask, so there's two different ways to do ask here. It's saying go like this. Because what does that look like? Prayer. What are you doing when we're praying? You're asking God. So in a non-spiritual sense, somebody goes like that, they're asking. It doesn't have to be a spiritual sense to say it like that, the praying hands. That's to ask something. But you can also draw a question mark with your hand. You could do that too. Or like ask, just depends. To ask, you can draw a question mark. You can do the what sign. It just all kind of depends on context. But if somebody says, hey, let me ask you something, and a lot of times they'll go like that, that means to ask. Because it's a petition.
So let's pray if that's ask.
I don't know. It's a good one. I think I learned that as pray, and so I was confused because I learned ask like that, but then I think that was prayer. But then I started seeing other people do that just for ask, and I realized that even my book said that like I was off. Like I had made the mental note that that's prayer, right?
I think that was prayer.
Right. So I don't know. I would have to double check. I think of that when I think of prayer. I close my hand. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. To pray. Charity, look up to pray. Thank you. And then, so we looked at please already. Open hand, circle around your heart. Thank you, we've looked at. Just thank you. And so I could say thank you to all that are here. I can do that to a crowd. Thank you. It's not like thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just I'm telling each one of you thank you, right? Or I could just tell somebody, thank you, Charity, for looking that up. Now, to pray, yeah. So to ask is just coming up, and then to pray is continually. That makes sense. But to say thank you, make sure you start on your chin, not from your neck. That's a totally different word we're not allowed to say in here. Page 108. To fight is the fists are going to go. You're fighting, right? So the fists are just going at it. That's to fight. That's to war. and that's to fight. To stop. So this one says stop, and it's just putting your hand out. Because if somebody's running at you, a little kid's running at you, what are you gonna do? Stop. You know. So you can tell somebody stop, or you can tell somebody stop. Like just stern, stop, stop. They're both right. To obey. This is a fun one. To obey. So in here, it's just saying from your head, it's going like that. But what you're really gonna see is people are gonna start like this with the hand closed, or an oval fist, and they're going to go like that. And because what they're doing is when you obey somebody, you're submitting your mind, you're submitting your thinking to what's higher than you, to your boss, to the Lord. My son's sign name is David, because we're trying to speak life into him, to obey. But to obey. But you might see people go like that down, just kind of like the picture does. I think it's an older way, but that's to obey. What you're doing is you're submitting your mind to something that is not your thinking. You're submitting it to somebody else's. That's to obey. To agree, this is to think, and this is by itself. This is same, right? And so to agree, you think the same. Simple. I agree. So if somebody's saying something and you agree, slang, you could just go like that. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand it, I get it.
But you're pointing
Or,
to whoever.
well, see, that that's like, okay, yeah, I get it. Or, if you agree, like, I would just go like this. And like, if somebody says something, hey, Bengals are the best NFL team, yeah, I'm going to agree with that. But technically, if somebody says I agree, that's right as well. To agree, because that's thinking the same. Then to arrive, don't get mixed up with all. So all, you start together and come like that. But to arrive, here's your destination, and you're gonna arrive. And you start separated, and you come because you're traveling, and you arrive somewhere. So, I arrived finally, or I arrived late. But that's arrived. To visit, you make a V, and you're gonna go like this. Because what do you do when you visit with people? You talk back and forth, and so that's visit. You're gonna have communication back and forth. Yeah. So that's visit. To leave, there's two different ways to do leave. This one here is telling you to have your hand like this, and then pull away like that. And what they're showing is you left something behind, like. You left it behind. You're leaving, right? Sometimes you'll see it the other way around, and you just see people removing themselves. But technically, to leave is like that. Like, are you ready to leave? Like, are you ready to go? So that's leave. But sometimes, if you left something, like if you're talking about something particular, I left an item at the, oh, where's my phone? Oh, I left it at the house. You're showing that you left it behind, right? But if you're starting from there, you're saying you're ready to leave, right? So does that make sense? It's time-wise. You left something behind, or you're ready to leave. To allow, to permit is like this. And so when I pray, I often say opportunity, like thank you for the opportunity. I'll do the C sign like that. But an opportunity is to allow something to happen. So context is key, because this is road, or this is the way, right? But it's also, if you come up like that, that's opportunity, that's to allow, that's to permit, you're given permission. So some of that's just common context. You don't really think to allow, to allow, to permit something. Or even for opportunity is the same thing. Fun stuff. To die is you're going to go like this. And so one palm up, one palm down, and you're going to go like that. Because you're turning over. I don't know the sign, but that's to die.
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah. To die. Yeah. So that's to die. Right? And so, yeah, to die. something dies, belly up. I don't know. To live is you're gonna make an L hand and you're gonna come up like that. So that's to live. That means life. Um, and so, because you're full of life, you're alive, right? On here, the book is just showing just your one way is with your L's hand. The other one is just with your thumbs. They're just showing that there's life still in whatever it is. There's life. It's alive. That's the term again. Alive, living, life. Like it's all one sign, but it's how you use it in context. To start, so picture how do you start a car? That's where that sign comes from. You just want your index finger through and you start to start. So if you're ready to start class or you're ready to start, work, that's start. And it's just like you're starting a car. To win, so in your book here, it shows one hand on top of the other. Or it shows that your first hand out and you're coming in and then going like that. What you're doing is you caught the prize, right? You caught the prize going like that. So that's to win. A lot of times you'll see, like the way I sign it, just from the people I learned, is to go like this. Because that's success, to go like that with your index finger, that's successful or success. And so to win is usually, and usually I clap my hand because you come, you gather it, and then you win. So I usually do my X fingers, but you go up with it. It's celebratory, right? So you go up with it. But here also, technically, the book, to win is you snatch it. But either way, what you're doing is that circular motion going upward is signifying success or win, to win something. And I always have to have this mental thought because when I talk about winning, I go like that. But victory is with a V. So you won the victory, or you won. And then the opposite, sin, is going like this, but kind of a little bit downward. So I always have to picture, well, if I'm sinning, that's downward, but if I'm winning, that's upward, right? So
sin is the X down?
mm-hmm. Yes. So sin, I sinned, but my sister-in-law, ready? So sister-in-law is a sinner. But that's to win, right? So then victory is with a V. To call. So this one is a little bit different. You're going to go like this to call. Now, if you're talking about calling on the phone, you're going to use the phone. But to call out to somebody, like in the picture, you're calling to your friend. My boss called me to the office, right? That's called. And it's kind of a very dramatic, like, because it's, I don't know an explanation. It's just, usually I slap my wrist first, but just to give it that emphasis, but that's call.
So it reminds me of the old push button or dial phones, the receiver, because you would have to pick up on it.
Yeah.
Are you sure we're all that old?
No, a majority of us
So-
probably don't know.
So that's the call, and then to respond or answer is like this, because it's coming from your mouth. You're responding. That's, to answer. Tell a kid, answer me. You're telling them answer, but really it's you're giving an answer, right? And so that's because you're responding with your mouth. That's usually how we acknowledge what we hear. We're answering. To announce, like that.
So under.
Yeah, because what you're doing is like a megaphone. Yeah, you're. But to announce it, you're not just announcing it to one person to say, but you want the whole crowd to hear. So you're kind of encompassing everybody. To introduce is like this. It's kind of the same thing as, no, I'm sorry. That's invite. So you invite somebody because you're inviting them into your home. You're bringing them to yourself. But to introduce somebody is you're introducing because you're bringing two together. So if I want to introduce my wife to my brother, the first time they're meeting, I'm bringing two things together. I'm introducing them, but invite is I'm bringing it to myself. Those things, those words that are similar, like I always have to, in my head, figure it out. Like there's two sisters in our church. One sister's name is Camille, and one is Camara. And so before I talk to either one of them, I have to say both names in my head, and like figure out, okay, which one am I about to say, right? And so that's the same way. Invite, introduce, like I have to figure it out in my head before I do it. To advise or to inform is, so close it, remember, forget is like this, because it slipped away, you forget. But to advise or inform, you're taking what you know. So going back, this is counselor, right? So that's counselor, to give counsel. But to advise or inform, I'm just letting you know. And so that's just, I'm just giving you what I know, right? And so that's going to be, again, context is going to help with that one. That's why obey is usually like that. I'm submitting to something higher than mine. But to inform, I'm just giving you something. Now, if somebody says, if they touch their forehead and go like that, that's up to you, right? Your decision, your thoughts, it's up to you. And this, again, this is yourself, myself, right? So they're literally just saying up to you. So that my wife tells me that all the time. What do you want to do? Do you want this? Do you want that? Do you want you want pizza? Do you want popcorn? She'll tell me it's up to you. Especially things with the kids, like that's up to you, because what she's doing is giving me what she has, and she's giving it to me. To know, again, we've looked at that one. To think is one finger. To know is possessive, so it's open hand. You know it, you have it, and so that's that. To continue or endure is you're gonna go like this, because it's regardless of the trials of life, you're gonna keep pressing forward. You're gonna keep pressing on, and so the term for forever is always, ever. So when it's one hand, you do the Y, and it's ever. But if you have both hands, then it's just the thumbs. Continue. That means to continue. It means to endure. Hard work. Whatever it is, that's all the same. You're going to continue through it. And the harder that it is, then the more strenuous. You could put your body language into it, your face. Like, man, I endured, and it was just hard. But that's endured. To continue therein. To copy. We've looked at this one, I think, before. You go like this, because what you're doing is just making a bunch of copies. Now, newspaper is like this, because they were making a bunch of copies, and then they were printing it out, right? So let's copy. A newspaper is just 100 copies of the same thing. So if I say copy me, I'm saying copy, like, because what you're doing is you're grabbing from the foundation, right? I mean, that's how I think of it. But to copy, you're just going to keep going like that. To cut, I mean, you could just use your cut hands. Context will tell. Here it's telling you to go. It's telling you, same thing. It's just, it looked like they was using two hands. But you're just going to go forward. You're going to cut something. To grow, you're going to stick your hand out. To grow. Now, but you're talking about plants. Plants grow. Remember, that's a plant because that's the ground, or like a flower pot, and it's coming and it's sprouting up and growing. So I use that term. When I first started interpreting, talking about growing in the Lord, things like that, I would use the sign grow, and they corrected me. They're like, I thought we were talking about people, not plants, right? So then they said, no, just grow, because kids, you pat them on the heads. What do kids do? And when you haven't seen somebody for 3 years, like, wow, when did you get taller than me, right? And so that's to grow. To cut, to grow. To care for, we looked at that. To keep. So to keep is to go like that. But to care for is, you're gentle, caring for it. So I care for you, care for my children.
What letter are you signing?
It's K. K. So the K hand is similar to like the filling finger. It's often used for a lot of different just normal signs. But to care for is you bring it close to your heart, and that's how you're going to protect. You bring it close to yourself. You care for it. To delay, I don't know what the delay is. I know turtle.
No.
Page 114. Okay, so this is a fun one. To argue is like this, because you're going back and forth, but you can't agree on it, and it's just like. So that's to argue. To build is like this, with two fingers like that, and you build up, right? But you'll also see people with an open hand to build. You're building on top of one another. It's bricklaying. To meet. Okay, so this one, very important. To meet somebody, you're two individuals coming together. They met, right? But if it's with a D, you're dating. So if you meet somebody, you say nice to date you, they're going to laugh. Deaf people are going to laugh. They know it's a simple mistake, but they're going to laugh at you. So you want to say it's nice to meet. And it's the closed fist, just one finger up. Meet. So it's nice to meet you, is what you would tell people. So if you do it with the D, that's date. But closing your fingers, that's to meet. Yep. So that one is very, nice to meet you. To wait is going to go like this. I tell my kids all the time, wait, just wait, because they're just, that's to wait. If I tell my kids, wait, just wait your turn, I'll tell them, I'm talking to an adult, I'm like this, telling them to wait. Now, also the same one, to hope, what you're going to do is you're going to have one hand above your head, the other one, it's not necessarily even, but you're going to go like this, hope. I don't know where that came from. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's just all in my head, I don't know. But to hope is like that, and then to wait is like that. Now, I know why they put them both here, to wait for something. Biblical speaking, to wait for something is to hope for something. And so I could understand why they would put it on the same page here. But in context, and you could kind of see that in English a little bit, but you're not going to ever interchange the word wait and hope when just telling a kid to, hope for it. No, you're going to tell them to wait, right? So there's distinction. To study, so remember to read was you're going to go down a book like that, because you read top to bottom. To read like that. But to study means we're just pouring into it. And we're trying to decipher it, dig into it, and we're just, so to think, to know, and sometimes this is to meditate or to think on something, because it's on your head, you're just constantly thinking about it. Sometimes I'll go like this, because it's like you're filing through the pages, you're filing through something, like you're trying to just study it, thinking about it, meditate of all the different options. So to study is like you're trying to file through it, you're studying it, you're just breaking it down. To lack, I taught you guys this was to miss. Like if somebody were to throw you the ball, and you missed the catch. That's to miss. But here it's saying to lack. Why? Because you don't have it. You reach for it, but you don't have it. So it's really going like that. Fake. I don't know that one.
I think they're grabbing their nose.
Grabbing your. Yeah. Fake is like this. Yeah. Huh? False, yeah. Fake, false. So I'm not sure what that is. But like if I was to say, that was fake, I would have just gone like that. Like that's not true. To escape is like this. And because there's somebody's captured, you write the bars, right? But they escaped. Because that's jail. So if that just helps you, you're stuck, you fled. Now when you're talking in a Christian sense, to go like that means to backslide. So to escape something, that's escape, you're running from it. But in a biblical sense, to backslide, you're going to go like that.
What was jail again?
Jail, you're behind bars. Yeah. And then to escape is To smoke, we don't do that. It makes sense like that. So you're talking about cigarettes, you're talking about weed, you're talking about cigarettes, same thing. Not same thing, but you know, I wouldn't have to tell you that was a sign for smoking. You'd already know that. To rent, again, is like this. So this is month. So every month, you know, you have a certain bill. My phone bill is monthly, repeats itself, but just one time is month. If going like this is temperature, because you're signifying like the the old thermometers, right? And the temperature goes up and down. And so to rent though is just going down, and it's similar to month. Why? Because most people pay rent monthly, right? So context will help you with that one. So you can say, I need to pay my rent, or you don't even have to say my, just I need pay rent, and they'll understand what you're talking about. To put away, I mean, I don't see where the number one is. Oh, okay, yeah, so they're putting in a drawer. To move something, and this is what I would just do, to move something, is you just go like that. Just move it from here to here. You're just moving it. And so to put away, it looks like they're actually just putting in a drawer. So that's neat. To wash, again, remember we've looked at this one before. You're gonna go like this, and you wash clean. And so that's why this is to wash. That's why this is pure with an H. That's holy, because all of those things represent clean, something clean. So, and really to clean, what are you doing? You're scrubbing. You scrub the dish. You used to wash clothes by hand. You would scrub the clothes, but it's just scrub to wash the dishes. Ooh, it is 6 o'clock. We didn't make it. If we hurry, I can try to make it in the next few minutes.
125.
Yeah. So to send is like that. So you're just sending them away, like shoo, go away. Send somebody away. And then to kill, we don't do that either, except deer and elk. You're gonna go like that. So I usually use the K hand and just go down. You're taking somebody down. To beg, they're just asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. They're begging you, usually for something to have. Yes.
And you're right. It's just like that, too.
I know. Oh, here we go. To move. So same thing. There it is. To move. Put away. To move. I use the same thing. To court. Okay. So earlier I said date. So here they're also using that same sign for to court. So a lot of conservative Christians don't believe in dating; they believe in courting. Ask me what that is later. It also says like that because
What are you doing with the thumbs?
oh, like that.
Oh.
When two people, when two 18-year-olds are in love, what do? They sit there, they stare at each other and twiddle their thumbs, do nothing productive.
Or just use their phone and text the whole thing.
So, what do they do? I don't understand that sign though.
That's boring. Or
Right, I know, but I wouldn't have said that. Yeah, so anyways, this is to be born. My baby was born yesterday. Born. You coming through the birth canal. Oh, here it is to pray.
no, that says pay.
Oh, to pay. I was like, that does not look like pray. To pay is you're giving your money away. Pay somebody. So that's why earlier I said I need to pay. This is debt. Going like this. Like this is my debt. And so, because it's all talking about money things. So this is my debt, but to pay you, so I need to pay my rent. To look like. They say face a lot. Oh, talking about two people. They look. So I would just sign. They're saying there's a lot of features that look the same, right? That's what that sign is. But I would just say look the same. I would just do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this-
I wouldn't worry about doing that. I don't know anybody that would use that. But look the same. Because this is face, just a circle, that's face. But when you're talking about looks, so why this is beautiful. If you open your hand, coming across, it's beautiful. But to look like something, to see something, to look, I'm going to point my eyes, hey, look over there, mira. That's to look. But to look like, I would just say look the same. To print, again, there he goes, there's the copy machine with the newspapers, you're printing something out. So take a walk. So in here, it uses like that. When my wife is talking about animal tracks, she'll do that. But we're not animals, we have feet, right? So she uses full hands to walk. To think, there we go, we've talked about some of that. To question or to ask, remember you could do the praying hand, or you just draw. I'm thankful some of these signs are coming up later in the book after I said that's what it is. So you guys don't think I'm crazy? What's that old saying? Better to be thought you're crazy than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. Yeah. So to can or be able to, like this. So a lot of times you'll see my kids, they'll ask me, when they don't want the other kids to know, they're like, can I go with you? So that's can. But it's also able. That's not how we do that song, but I'm just saying he is able. He can. To need, you're going to do like this. So you just up and down. You need. So that's why I said I need. Right. Now, that's also should. Should. Because to should means to, you need to, you should do this, you need to do this. You need that, you should do that. To prohibit, you're stopping. Something's moving along and you stopped it. To protect, and so to sign protect, so they're using a fist. I usually, safety to protect is usually like this, right? There's this person and you're putting a wall between them and the danger coming at them. You're hiding them behind a wall. So I use that for safety, but because just like that picture, the mom is standing between the dog and the girl. So that's safety. Then, if I was to go like that, come against it, that's danger, right? Because that's something's coming against it. So this you're talking about, you're protecting the individual. But if you're talking about the one that's actually attacking, you're going to go like that because you're more focused on the one that's attacking, coming against you. So it's a dangerous situation, and it needs protecting from. To prove, you're going to put what you say, you're going to lay it out. Come on, prove it. And you're going to show me the evidence, right? So to prove is you're going to put your words down on paper, you're going to show that there's evidence to prove it. To promise is you're going to say it, but you're sealing it. Because you're sealing it, that's what that represents. You're sealing it, what you say. So promise, and then to prove is palm up. Because you're laying it out. You're showing the people what you're saying. To save, so is like this. Like that. Because you're in handcuffs, and you've been set free, or saved. So that's to save. So in a spiritual sense, that's saved. And then we say saved, finish, because it's done. Your salvation is paid full in Christ. It's not your works. It's not Christ plus works, not Christ plus money, not Christ plus faithfulness. It's finished. You're saved, finished. That's salvation. But just talking about like saved me from the waters, he saved me. But if you're talking about saving money, you're going to go like this. And I don't know.
So you have a fist with
Yeah.
two fingers
Yeah.
going to the bottom.
Yeah, but I'm going to be able to, so is it, see now I'm going to go like that. Save. To save money. You need to save money. But if you were saved, yeah. To reject, you're going to go, nah, nope. Tell somebody nope. Down with them. Again, to know, there it is, open hand. To know, you have it. To serve is you're going to go like this, because you're serving this plate, you're just constantly serving somebody sideways. So this is maybe up and down, but to serve somebody, you're actually presenting to them their plate, like a waitress. They have two plates in their hand, they serve this one and this one. That's to serve. To aid, to help you. We've already looked at that one, help. To disappear. And then the second part is saying, so that's one, to disappear, just disappear without. The other rendition is, and I don't know that one. No, that one is going like that. Maybe skedaddle. Is that what you said? They left. I don't know. That's what I'm looking at that. I would have just, I know that one. Finish. Now in sign language, this is very important to finish. They use that for everything. They're done telling you the story. They're finished with their food. I'm saved, finish. It's a grammatical piece talking about something that is emphatic, like what we use, if you know grammar, in our perfect tenses, I think is what it's called. It's done, a perfect tenses is finish. So I'm saved, so it's done, right? And so I cleaned, finish means I'm done. I'm done cleaning. I finished cleaning, but that's to finish. That's my hands are done. My hands are free. I'm off of it. But it's used in every. You can't have a conversation almost with a deaf person without using that sign. They introduce that to everything. Manners. See, behavior. This is to do something, and so with the B, that's behavior. I don't know. Okay, so that is fine. Like, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So maybe that's why they're saying manners, behavior. I don't know it that way. I know behavior like this. So I don't know. But that, going like that, is fine. Like if somebody has, hey, you want to go to McDonald's? Yeah, that's fine. You say, yeah, that's good. You know, I'm fine with it. False, there we go. Fake, false. False is going like that. Marvelous is going like that. So top to bottom. So when we're singing, what song is it? There's a song we sing. I think when I talk about, oh how marvelous, oh how
marvelous.
wonderful. That's a sign for I use for wonderful, oftentimes. So marvelous, wonderful, similar. Light is like something is light. I would, so they're going like that because it's floating up. Yeah, I would have done it backwards. Light, because heavy is like that, and the heavier it is, the quicker you fall, right? But light is like it's floating up. I wouldn't have used that sign, but it's there. Yeah, there we go. Heavy, you're coming down. I usually close my hand. Heavy. Already, again, finished. It happened already. It's done already. Already, done, gone. See, now they're doing. They use it for everything. Said something, you know, I said it, comes from my mouth, I spoke it. To travel, oh, do you have a question? Are you talking about number 475? Oh. So, right, light when it comes to like these lights, they're gonna come on. Sometimes you'll see people flick their chin. I don't know where that one comes from, but that's talking about the light as well. The light's on. That's lights on. That's lights off. So when it comes to, but something that is not heavy, like the boxes, they're light. They like you pick them up and they're light. I guess that would make sense. You pick them up and you're able to pick them up. So that's lightweight. Heavy. You know, you drop your hands there. Already gone, done. Yeah, gone. Somebody here? No, they're gone. They done. They're finished here. They're on something else. Said to travel. You're gonna make your snake hands, so it looks very much like snake. You're gonna go like that. That's why Paul, the Apostle Paul's sign name is with the P, going like that, because he traveled on his missionary journeys. But that's to travel. Not yet, like that. We like that. Not yet, or I'm late. It's not happened yet. Now, you're gonna go like that. Now. And so you could do both hands like that. That's why today is now day, because that's today. It's now. It's happening now. Late, there you go. Again, late, same thing as not yet. Late. All right, yeah, that was page 125. All right, started at 7 after, we're only 13. I was only 5 minutes late technically, if I would've just started on time. But, yeah, so I think the last week's was live streamed, so if you wanna go back and just review some of the page 75 to 100, that's on there, on the website there. And then, like I said, what we were planning on doing, we got less than, we'll finish out the vocabulary, cause I think it's only 164. Yeah, it only goes to page 164. If we do 25 pages a day, we'll finish in 2 more weeks, and then the next, so we'll finish vocabulary, and then we'll work on sentence structure, putting it together, and really just helping words that you would use every day, and sentences that you want to know how to do it. We'll work on the grammar, the structure, and putting it all together, and doing a lot of review the last month, probably November going into December. We'll work on actually putting it to practice. So, any questions for today? Any of the ones that we went over? There's a few that I kind of get mixed up on and I have to review, but that's the thing. If you don't use it, you lose it. And so even myself, that's why I normally try to review with my wife beforehand, but I haven't had the opportunity to do that last couple weeks. So, all right, let's go ahead and close in prayer, and then we'll be finished. So, dear Heavenly Father, again, thank you again for allowing us to meet. Help us to continue to learn. Give us the mental ability and power to be able to retain some of this, that way we might encourage even some deaf along the way, and point them to you. Father, we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so we are finished. So dismissed, finished. Before you guys leave, what I do want to do